What's up everyone, it's Sprometheus, and today I'm bringing you another one of those outside-of-the-box brewing methods. I think at this point we're all pretty familiar with the Aeropress. You know, that magical little coffee piston that has seemingly endless uses, and of course the prolific pour-over that has a seemingly endless number of dripper options. Well today, like the title says, we're going to be taking the press out of the Aero and using it more like a pour-over dripper. But first, a quick word from today's sponsor, Standart Magazine. Nothing goes together quite like a cup of coffee and some quality reading, and Standart Magazine fits into that pocket of happiness perfectly. Each issue is like a snapshot of coffee culture at that moment in time, with topics ranging from those in the forefront to those on the margins, and not to mention some eye-catching design and photography. An included sample of coffee from some of the best roasters in the world helps bring the experience full circle. So hit that Standart link in the description or head to standartmag.com/Sprometheus to support an independent coffee magazine, the channel, and treat yourself to a year subscription of copy and coffee delivered to your doorstep pretty much anywhere in the world. The no-press method was something I stumbled upon by just pure accident while taking photos of the Aeropress for the constant pain of my ass that is Instagram. So after letting the water just drip through the Aeropress, I gave it a sip and was pleasantly surprised. For a minute, my smooth brain got all excited and I thought that I had come up with something brand new, but after Googling it, turns out people have been doing it for quite some time. But even though it isn't a Sprometheus original, like the Kuomi Bloom, it's pretty much under the radar. So today, let's consider it on the radar. At first glance, it's hard to see why the Aeropress would be a pretty decent dripper, but there are a few reasons why it actually works pretty well. For one, there is no bypass, which essentially means no water slips by the coffee bed during brewing. This is a common issue with most pour-over drippers, which create an avenue between the dripper and the filter for water to escape the brew slurry. Next, it creates a flat bed. Much like the Kalita, the Aeropress creates an even bed with increased surface area, and this promotes a more uniform flow of water through the coffee. And lastly, it has tall vertical walls. This ensures that the entire bed of coffee is always saturated, and it eliminates or at least minimizes grinds being left high and dry, like they often do on paper filters. If you've ever made a pour-over, then you can make a no-press Aeropress, and it's actually quite a bit simpler than most of the V60 or other pour-over methods out there. First, prepare your Aeropress as you normally would, but go ahead and chuck that inner piston, then rinse your filter and toss the water. Measure out and grind up 15 grams of coffee in a medium coarse setting, think Kalita Wave for instance. Drop those grinds into the chamber and give it a little shake to even out the bed. From here, just dump the entire brew weight of 240 grams into the chamber. Once all the water is in, give it a good stir and then just let it drip through. Of course, you can do a bloom if you'd like, but through my testing it didn't make any tangible difference either in taste or extraction. Towards the end, around the 1 on the chamber, give it a quick swirl, and then you can let it run all the way dry, or ditch the dripper as soon as the water level hits the grinds. It should take a little longer than your average pour-over, wrapping up around 4 to 6 minutes. In the cup you should find a clean but complex brew with an elevated aroma. The slightly extended brew time also gives it some time to cool, which also helps accentuate the complexity of the coffee. In most of my test brews, I found extraction sitting comfortably within specialty range, around 19%. But I think there's still some extra potential buried in there somewhere. And finally, as I wrap everything up, there are a few things I think are worth mentioning, and those are the filters, the grind, and the time. The standard Aeropress filters tend to clog up pretty easily in this method. They'll still work, but you'll need to grind just a wee bit coarser. If you have any thicker filters like the Cafec Medium Roast or standard Harios, they may flow a little better, especially during the latter part of the drawdown, but they do require some arts and crafts. When it comes to the brew time, don't get completely caught up in it. During the mini tests I did with this method, I had some pretty tasty brews up to 9 minutes, but they were knocking on the door of over-extraction, so don't let the timer tell you, let your taste buds be the judge. And with all that said, I think it's time to wrap this one up. I definitely recommend you try out the no-press Aeropress, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it down in the comment section below if you do. Of course, let me know if you have any questions, concerns, or comments on the no-press method, or have any ideas for weird coffee brewing methods to try out in the future. As always, thanks for your time, thanks for watching, and of course, I'll see you next week. And a big thank you to my March Patreons, Ads, Jacob P, David W, Christopher, Squeegee, Ro, Brian, Lisa, Obo, Andre, Sean, Noel, Spookus, Mika, Samantha, Bound Coffee, Claire, Stephen, James K, Josh, Andrew Horrison, Corey C. Curry, Jeff Roth, Joey N, Thomas B, UK Espresso, Tim, Jason C, Ninja Warrior Coffee, Home Barista Coach, Testing 123, Jerry, Matt, Zachary V, Tyler F, Robert Underdunk, Jeffrey R, BJK Cafe, Chris M, Daniel P, Mike B, Brian M, Brandon B, Tyler M, Sebastian, Matthew C, JRC, Absolute, Stephen G, Alex T, Offensive, and Jose, and of course a big thank you to the Barista and Barback tiers. If you want any information on my Patreon, there's a link in the description and in the upper right hand corner right now. And of course, a big thank you to you for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications of new videos posted every Friday. Follow my Instagram at Sprometheus for content throughout the week, my blog at Sprometheus.com, my coffee at littlegiant.coffee, and as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy.